Hi everyone, I am so happy and grateful for this beautiful day to be able to connect with you and share with you my favorite chapter in Science of Getting Rich, which is gratitude. Let's talk about gratitude. We hear it, we throw it around, and some people really understand how to be grateful. And I had to learn this myself. Before I learned how powerful gratitude was and the importance of it, I didn't pay it much attention. I was grateful sometimes, but it was here and there and occasionally. And since I've grown to appreciate things more and more, and as when I learned that gratitude is actually two things. Well, it's more than that, but it's a habit and it's a law. Once I began to work within the law, I began to see things shifting in my life. I began to draw more of that to me. And I'll explain to you how this works. There's a few tenets, if you will. I have them posted below and I'll walk you through each one. Just take a pen out and write these down. These are super important. Gratitude, when we think about abundance in our life, the more grateful we are for everything, we draw more of that abundance to us, more of that which we want to have in our life. And when we're grateful for more, that it just draws more of it to us. And so that is very important, to be grateful for everything. And I'll share with you why in a second. So it relates to the formless substance in a harmonious way. You'll find that Waddles, the author of Science of Getting Rich, he will refer to God, our creator, spirit, as formless substance. So when we use that terminology, just understand he's talking about God. And so when he says we're relating to formless substance in a harmonious way, relate to formless substance in a harmonious way. So what is that harmonious way? Gratitude is a deep feeling of appreciation for everything. And you notice I said feeling. So it's important that when we're talking about gratitude, it's so easy to think that it's just a thought. You know, thank you for that. But there's an emotion that is required. Feeling is the important part. When we reference back to the stick person diagram that I often will point to over here, you can even see it here, that when we think a thought, until we emotionalize it and impress it on the subconscious, there is not that reaction, there is not that connection with our source, with our creator. So it happens here with gratitude. I'm going to read to you the three important components here. This is get this part down, and then the rest will follow. Waddles writes, the whole process of mental adjustment can be summed up in one word: gratitude. That's how important this is. The whole process of mental adjustment can be summed up in one word: gratitude. First, you must believe that there is one intelligent substance, God, creator, spirit, from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. So there's the source. And third, you relate to yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. So let me repeat that back again to make sure that we're getting this, to set the framework for the rest of what I'm going to share with you. First, you believe that there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. All flows from that source. And then third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by a lack of gratitude. Let's look at the last three lines of that of number 3, which was deep and profound. So I don't know about you, but until I learned this, I wasn't deeply and profoundly grateful. I think I was somewhat grateful, and sometimes I was more grateful than other times, but deep and profound. It's important that we remember those words, because that talks about the feeling. Relate in a harmonious way. So I'm going to jump to this other part, which talks to us about the law. The law of gratitude is a natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and opposite direction. So when we talk about action, reaction, I also have it over here. You can see the stick person diagram. We have action and reaction. So what does that mean? Action, reaction. That's a cause and effect. Emerson says that cause and effect, the law of laws. And that's how it's described here, action and reaction. In other words, what does that mean? What we put out, we get back. What we put out, we get back. And so he says that the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you. So when we think about something that we want, when we think about how we're grateful for it, it draws it closer to us. Understand what I just said is that if we're grateful for it before it comes, we have the state of gratitude, but we also have expectation, which turns into faith. And I've listed that for you down here. Okay, so the moment you permit your mind to dwell in dissatisfaction on things as they are, you begin to lose ground. Now, we talked about this in a previous video when I said that the key here is thinking in a certain way. So this is the same thing here. When he's talking about when we're focused on the things as they are, we begin to lose ground. We're losing ground, meaning we're focused on what's right in front of us. We can go back to the stick person diagram and refer back to how the universal poverty strategy is to observe what's right in front of us, which takes no degree of faith whatsoever. But what he's saying here is that when we permit our mind to dwell, focus on that in dissatisfaction, we begin to lose ground. On the other hand, when we fix our mind, our attention on the best is to surround ourselves with the best and become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of what we give our attention to. So that's the key here. Fix our attention, and when we have an expectation and faith, we draw it closer to us. It is necessary then, he writes, to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and give thanks continuously, because all things have contributed to your advancement, and you should include all things in your gratitude. So think about that. What he's saying is that we're grateful for all things. This is the part where most folks will get off track with this, is that they'll be grateful for things that are apparent, that they're grateful for. Maybe they got something that came their way. Maybe there's a gift that was given to us, or maybe there was a sum of money. But what he's saying is that when we're grateful for everything, understanding that life is not happening to us, but life is happening for us. And then simply making a choice to be grateful for it no matter what it is. If something negative happens, if we're grateful for it, understanding that everything is happening for us, we're going to put ourselves into that state. We're going to relate in a harmonious way all the time. And we're going to set up that action-reaction component, which pulls us closer. It draws these things closer to us that we want because we're in harmony with our Creator. We fix our attention upon that which is desired, that which is, as Waddle says, that which is best. And we will become the best. And as I noted down here, I wrote everything because that's the key here. Is I have a gratitude journal, so every morning I write, as I mentioned, 10 things every morning that I'm grateful for. But the key is to be grateful all the time. To be grateful all the time. And that's no easy task because if it's not a habit, it's something that one has to learn how to do. Be grateful all the time. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful for everyone. Yes, even that person that you just thought of. How can I be grateful for them? Because there's something to be grateful for if you understand that everything is happening for you and not to you. You should include all things in your gratitude. God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are. And so gratitude is a part of my morning process. It's also something that I've learned to create as a habit of looking for things to be grateful for at every turn. So I'll leave you one way to do this that has been helpful for me. So if something happens and it's let's say you would normally deem it to be negative. Remember, we're going back to another lesson that there is no meaning to anything except for the meaning we give it. Remember, there's no big or small except for our thoughts make it so. So if something happens, remove the bias from it and just stand there and just call it is. It just is. There's no negative or positive. There's zero opinion about it. It just is. And then focus on what is positive or what can be positive. Just ask the question, what's good about this? Remember we talked about W. Clement Stone in one of my other videos. W. Clement Stone would make the habit of saying, that's good. No matter what it is, that's good. And what happens is begin to focus, our subconscious begins to seek out what is good about this. There's a scientific way of looking at it, which is the reticular activator, the reticular activating system, the RAS. It's a section of our brain that sifts and sorts data and draws closer to us, or has us focus in on the thing that we're looking for. And more importantly, I think it actually filters away everything. Napoleon said, "I see only the objective, the obstacles must give way." So the reticular activator is the section of the brain that actually does that for us. So if we say, that's good, it begins to focus on what is good, because then all of a sudden the brain says, well, what's good? I don't know, what's good? And then you go in that direction. So then you become grateful for what's buried in there. I've said it before, look for the beauty in the contrast. The contrast is what we sift and sort through on a daily basis, because when we know what we don't like, we can find out what we do like. The law of polarity. I don't like this, but I do like this. I know that because I didn't like that. There is no dark without light. There is no cold without warmth. There's no up without down. Gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, one that is a habitual way of living, draws closer to you because you're in more harmonious relationship with, as Waddle says, formless substance with your Creator. I hope this has found you well. If you want to know more about how to work through living in a way, and it's not even working through, because once it becomes a part of you, it's no longer something that you do. So for example, when I first started this, I said, I'm going to do a gratitude journal. I'm going to write in the gratitude journal. But after a while, gratitude became a way of being. And so there's a big difference. When we read books and we read through and gloss over. By the way, I read this book for the first time over 10 years ago, Science of Getting Rich. And I listened to it it was actually a CD in my car. And it went right over my head. Nothing changed because I was reading it and understanding it, but I didn't become it. And that's the big difference here. So we can talk about these concepts, and I was the same way, where I'd say, yeah, I got it. I understand. Grateful, okay, do gratitude. But there's a difference when we actually become something. It's like saying, I'm going to work out versus I am healthy. There's a difference. And becoming is how we become is through a process, through a very intentional process. We become by stepping into that version of ourselves. We become by removing the old and replacing it with the new. We're not talking about putting old wine, as Jesus said, warned us of putting bad wine in the old bottle, but we're talking about a new version. And there's a way of doing that. It's by removing the old paradigms and replacing them with new empowering paradigms. A paradigm is an old habit, a way of thinking that is subconscious that we don't even know it's happening. And so if you want to know how to do that, there's a very specific program that I help clients with, and it's called Thinking into Results. And each lesson is designed to help remove the old paradigm and replace it with the new. An example is being grateful at all times for everything. That's a way of living. It's not just something that you do. It's not something you just read about. And I can help you with that. So I'll put a link below if you want to set up a time we can have a breakthrough session. And remember, gratitude is something that you can apply to your life and become, and it'll help you with all areas. It'll help you with more business. It'll help you with wealth. It'll help you with abundance. It'll help you with relationships. If you're grateful for everything and everybody around you, understanding that we're all one anyway. I'll leave you with this one example real quick. I was gonna shut the video off, but Sandy Gallagher is Bob Proctor's business partner, and she was approached by a businessman who was having some business challenges, and he said, "Can you please help me?" And she listened to his challenges, and she said, okay, got it. So here's what I recommend that you do. Here's a gratitude journal. Start writing down the things you're grateful for in your business and everything around you. He said, what, are you kidding me? What's the strategy, Sandy? What's the exact strategy? That was the strategy, being grateful. Can you believe that? I believe that, and I can see that. So also, the other thing that you can do is throughout the day is take a notepad out and just start writing down things that you're grateful for in the middle of something that you might consider to be negative or stressful. Immediately write out 20 things you're grateful for on the spot. And I've done that over and over and over again. What am I grateful for right now? Well, you can run it through your head. I need 10 things right now that I'm grateful for. And begin to look around you, and your vibration will change. Your vibration will change, and you'll begin to be, your physiology begins to change as well. Gratitude is an attitude, it's a way of being, it's a way of living, and it brings us into closer, harmonious relationship with our Creator. If you want to know more how to do that, click the link below and schedule a call with me. And I hope this has found you well. Remember, my name is Kevin Yoder, Yoder Results, Bob Proctor Consultant, and you're only one thought away from living the divine design of your life: health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. I'll see you soon.